It all began on a Tuesday afternoon when I stumbled upon the text messages. They were innocuous at first glance, just casual banter about workouts and meal plans. But the further I scrolled, the more intimate they became. My husband, Dan, had been cheating on me with his personal trainer, Claire. I felt a surge of rage coursing through my veins. 10 years of marriage, countless sacrifices, and this is how he repaid me? I could have confronted him right then and there, but something inside me whispered, not yet. Revenge, after all, is a dish best served cold. That night, I played my part perfectly, cooked his favorite dinner, laughed at his lame jokes, and even kissed him goodnight. But as he snored beside me, I planned my next move. The first step was gathering evidence. Over the next few weeks, I became an expert sleuth. I created a fake gym membership and started working out at the same facility. Claire, oblivious to my true identity, was as bubbly and flirtatious as her texts suggested. Dan was none the wiser about my sudden interest in fitness, chalking it up to my desire to spice things up. I observed their interactions, subtle yet intimate, a lingering touch here, a private whisper there. I took photos and videos discreetly, building a damning collection. I even befriended some of the gym staff, who unknowingly filled in the gaps with juicy tidbits about how close Claire and Dan had become. Once I had enough evidence, it was time to execute my plan. But I didn't just want to humiliate Dan, I wanted to reclaim my dignity and show him what he was losing. I started by transforming myself. I hired a personal trainer, not Claire, of course, and poured my anger into intense workouts. I revamped my wardrobe, dyed my hair, and began radiating a confidence I hadn't felt in years. Dan noticed. "You're looking amazing," he said one evening, eyeing me with renewed interest. I shrugged nonchalantly. "Thanks." Just focusing on myself. Meanwhile, I was planting seeds of doubt in Claire's mind. During casual conversations, I'd drop hints about how Dan was such a flirt or how he had a wandering eye. Her smile would falter, just for a moment, but it was enough. The climax of my plan coincided with our 10th wedding anniversary. I arranged a lavish party at our home, inviting friends, family, and of course Claire. She thought she was attending as Dan's +1, unaware of what I had in store. As the evening progressed, I played the perfect hostess. When the time came for the obligatory anniversary speech, I took the microphone with a smile. "Thank you all for being here to celebrate 10 wonderful years of marriage. Tonight, I want to share something special with you." The room fell silent as I clicked on a remote. A slideshow began, displaying photos and videos of Dan and Claire's not-so-secret rendezvous. Gasps and whispers filled the room. Claire's face turned crimson, while Dan's jaw dropped in shock. Suddenly, Claire bolted for the door, but not before one of the gym staff I had befriended stopped her. "Leaving so soon?" he asked, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Aren't you the guest of honor tonight?" Dan stammered. "Lisa, this isn't the place." I cut him off. "Oh, I think it's the perfect place. After all, everyone here deserves to know the truth." Tension hung thick in the air as I added, "And Claire, if you're wondering why your car wouldn't start earlier, let's just say karma doesn't like to wait." Claire's face turned a deep shade of crimson. She made a lunge for the door, but I wasn't done yet. "Claire, before you go, why don't you take this?" I tossed her a folder full of the incriminating photos and videos. "You might need these when you explain yourself to the gym board." Dan tried to defend her, but the murmurs of disapproval from the crowd drowned him out. Then, in a final act of defiance, Claire grabbed a glass of wine from the table and hurled it in my direction. I ducked just in time, and the glass shattered against the wall behind me. The room erupted into chaos. Dan shouted, "Claire, stop it," but she didn't. She turned on him. "You said she was weak. That she wouldn't find out." My speech ended with a toast, to 10 years of lessons learned and to new beginnings. The fallout was glorious. Dan tried to explain, but his words fell on deaf ears. Our friends and family rallied around me, offering their support. Claire, humiliated, quit her job at the gym and disappeared from our social circles. As for Dan, he moved out that night, leaving behind a marriage in ruins, but my revenge didn't stop there. I filed for divorce the very next day. ensuring I got a fair share of our assets. With my newfound confidence and freedom, I started my own business, a fitness studio. Ironically enough, it became a haven for women like me, offering them a chance to rebuild and reclaim their lives. Months later, I ran into Claire at a coffee shop. She looked miserable, a shadow of her former self. She tried to apologize, but I stopped her. "I've moved on, Claire. You should too," and I had. My life was thriving in ways I'd never imagined. One evening, as I closed up the studio, a familiar face walked in. It was Ryan, an old friend from college who had recently moved back to town. We had lost touch over the years, but the connection between us rekindled instantly. Over coffee and long walks, Ryan reminded me of what it felt like to be truly seen and valued. He listened, laughed, and never judged. One night, under a canopy of stars, he confessed, "Lisa, I've always admired your strength and kindness. I don't know what the future holds, but I'd love to be part of your journey." His words melted the walls I'd built around my heart. "Ryan, you've been my light in the darkness." "I'd like that too," I replied, smiling through happy tears. As for Dan, he'd tried to win me back, but I'd made my decision. Some bridges are meant to be burned. Revenge had been sweet, but the real victory was reclaiming my life and opening my heart to love again, this time with someone who truly deserved it. And as for Claire, she had become a distant memory, a reminder of the storm I had weathered and the strength I had gained from it.